So this video is more like it's a response to a request. Somebody sent me a message. I wanted to know if it's okay to buy a Peugeot 407 with EW10A engine and manual transmission for commercial purposes. So, all right, yes, it's very, very, very good to buy such Peugeot car with that kind of specification for commercial. Yes, it's very good. I highly recommend it. No, I'm not saying I recommend the one probably you've seen. So don't quote me tomorrow. If you go and buy an abused car, don't say I was the one that asked you to go and buy that car. No, I'm saying if a Peugeot 407 with EW10A and manual transmission is very, very good to use for commercial purposes, whether it's for taxi, Uber, Z-Boat. There are so many of them. You know, for whatever it is, yeah, it will serve that purpose very, very well. In fact, very, very well. Very. There are so many positives about that Peugeot car with that engine model and the transmission type for that kind of purpose. One of them is, of course, is a petrol engine. For a country like Nigeria, you won't have a problem with the maintenance and sourcing fuel for it. The second one is it has enough power, very good power. As average, I'm not saying the best of power in Peugeot 407, but average power that will give you the best fuel economy for commercial. Now, I know some people will say, but that the EW10A in 407 is not the only 407 that consumes less fuel. In fact, some may even argue that it doesn't consume less than EW10A. But I will tell you, it actually does when you want to apply it in this kind of situation for commercial purpose. One thing people don't realize is these Peugeot cars, especially like Peugeot 406 and Peugeot 407, that comes with EW7J4 or EW7A, they are not actually meant to be used to be carrying heavy luggage or, you know, just loads, heavy loads. Let me just put it that way. And you know, for commercial purposes, most times you tend to carry a lot of things. You may carry up to 3 or 4 passengers at once, even if it's Uber. There may be 4 or 3 people that want to use that service or make that request, and you just have to carry them. Or the person may have a lot of load, and in that case, the 1.8 liter engine with a vehicle that weighs up to 1,300 to 1,400 kg, it's not going to make any sense to use engine with with about 110 horsepower. Come on, it's going to consume the entire fuel, because that's why when you check Peugeot 406, Peugeot 407 with all those 1.8 liter petrol engines, most of them don't even come with alloy wheels. Yeah, they remove them simply because even those alloy wheels add load to the engine. They add load to the engine, and which will make it to consume or not to be able to give you that economic Peugeot claim you can get. So, but most times you find people, they'll buy a Peugeot car with, for example, Peugeot 406 or Peugeot 407 with that EW7J4 or EW7A engine, which is 1.8 liter. They will go and start putting all these heavy alloy wheels, and they start complaining that the consumption have gone high. That car is not meant to carry that kind of alloy wheels. Or you put heavy, wide, fat tires. they are adding load to the engine. They can't handle that kind of load, so the consumption will go high. So that's why, to me, 2.0 liter is very good. It has average power, and it can actually handle that fuel, whatever load you give to it. You know, I'm not saying excess load, yes, but it can do very well for commercial with load. So in that case, yes, the EW10A will consume less than EW7J4 or EW7A. That's the point. It has other positive advantages to use that 407 with EW10A. I mean, the engine, the cost of maintenance is almost the same with EW10J4. In fact, some of them say even appears to be cheaper. From what I gather recently, it's as if by changing the engine is even cheaper these days than the EW10J4. That's to buy a used engine, which we call the Peugeot engine. It's almost the same price, or somehow even cheaper than that of EW10J4. I'm not saying in all cases, but most people these days, that's what they end up telling me, that they bought it very cheap, even cheaper than EW10J4. So many things, it's almost the same price. The only price I would say, okay, I'll come to that later. So there are so many positives you can get with 407, EW10A, and manual transmission. Yes, let's talk about the transmission type. Of course, the automatic EW10A with automatic gearbox, which is consumes more fuel. So, and not only consumes more fuel, you have to spend more to maintain that gearbox than the manual. You spend more. So, and not only that, almost every small issue the engine comes with that gives, it always reflects on the gearbox. It will allow the gearbox to work very well. And not only that, whatever issue comes up and the gearbox starts misbehaving, most times you even know where the fault is coming from. Is it from the engine or from the gearbox? But for the manual transmission, especially for somebody who is using it for commercial, you don't need a car where you'll be spending almost all the profit on maintenance. I mean, what's the point of doing the business if you have to spend 90% of the money you are making from the business to be repairing the vehicle, or to be using it to diagnose or fix the vehicle, or to change the gearbox, or be changing the ATF all the time? Doesn't make sense to me. To me, that's why, I mean, it doesn't make any serious sense. I would rather get one that I know that my only focus will be on the engine. Yes, with manual transmission, your focus is only the engine. You have no business with the manual gearbox. As long as you are very good with manual transmission, so you have no business they are going to your gearbox to do anything. Even the clutch, that's what I'm saying. If you are very good with using manual gearbox or vehicles, you find out that your clutch will last you hundreds of thousands of kilometers. I'm not talking about 10,000, no, hundreds of thousands. So in that case, well, you have no business there. Unlike the automatic one that every now and then you are buying the expensive ATF, changing it every 30,000 kilometers so that the gearbox doesn't misbehave. And most times, even after doing that, some people will still end up having malfunction gearbox or failed gearbox, even though they were using the recommended ATF. So automatic gearbox in that situation, I would recommend it for private. Yes, but commercial, just don't. There's automatic gearbox you can use for commercial and Peugeot vehicles, but not that AL4. Guys, I'm being very honest. Now, I've seen people that have used it. Don't say I've not. No, doesn't mean there are not people who are not doing it. Yeah, I know people that are using it automatic 407 with automatic gearbox, EW10J4, EW10A, and they are not giving them any issues. They are there, but you are talking about 1 or 2 out of 10. That's what I'm saying. Even people that use it privately, that don't even use their cars that often, they still have the automatic gearbox issue, whereby you are using it for commercial. Almost every 2 days you are going back to repair 1 or 2 things on your gearbox. So The manual one make more sense because for so many reasons it consumes less fuel. So I mean, the purpose of buying a car to use for commercial purpose, you are factoring the one that will consume, not that it will consume less than every other vehicle, no, but at least the fuel consumption and the work you are using it to do will commensurate with the work the car has to do. I mean, if you buy one that will consume like with 1.6 liter engine and the vehicle weigh more than 1,003, it doesn't matter that it consumes very little amount of money. It's going to blow up that fuel once you start adding load. But if you get one with enough power, the fuel consumption will be okay, because of course when you carry load you tend to charge more most times, so it will still compensate with that, you know, just logical. That's what I'm saying. Then you apply logic to it. If you apply logic to everything, you hardly have issues. You'll be able to make the right choice in everything you do in life. Okay, let's talk about the negatives. The negatives, I've done video on this thing, so it's like I'm even trying to repeat myself. The negatives, okay, the throttle body, because it uses motorized throttle body. That's the most expensive part of that engine when you compare it to EW10A J4. So the used one, second-hand one, costs about between 30 to 35,000, which to me it doesn't make sense. I would rather advise you to buy a new one. Yes, buy a new one. New one costs about 40 to 45, or just say between 40 to 50 something thousand. So I mean, buy original new one that will serve you close to 100,000 kilometers or more, or at least serve you for many years, rather than the one that you buy second hand, which probably may almost be close to end of its lifespan. You put it only for it to fail 2 weeks later, a month later, or a few months later, or even less, or even sometimes after 2 days they will pack up. What do you do? The 35,000 is gone, which you probably would have added additional 10,000 or a little bit more or less, and you get the original new one. So that's why I tell people, for that motorized throttle body for EW10A, it's better you buy a new one. Forget about second hand, or you try the other option I mentioned, like that of what's it called? Some people, I know 1 or 2 people that are using, or at least I saw they mounted EW10 J4 motorized throttle body on their EW10A engine, which is cheaper. Second hand you can get it less than 10,000 naira or a little bit more. So most people do that, and like I said, the one I do didn't show anything that motorized throttle body is faulty. So I don't know other negatives. 407, like I mentioned, 407, the front end suspension is more complex than that of like 406, 307. In fact, when it comes to Peugeot cars produced within that year, like 99 to 2010, if you compare these 3 cars like Peugeot 307, Peugeot 406, Peugeot 407, these are 3 cars that are very good for that kind of commercial purposes. So if you compare Peugeot 407 with these other 2, 406 and 307, you find out that Peugeot 407, the suspension, the first suspension has it has a complex distance, meaning that it will cost you more to fix. So like I was saying, there is no way there's no way for what am I even saying? The 407 first suspension, where it will cost you more to fix, because it's a little bit more complex than the other 2 I mentioned. So in that case, you have to be mindful of that. The cost, is higher because it has a lot of bushings there and so many things that you have to replace when it goes wrong, or when they fail. I'm not saying the shock absorber is very expensive. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about like all this, like for example, it has 2 ball joints what you call front swivel, front steering swivel. So those things it has upper and the lower, unlike these other ones that have just one low, which is the lower type. So the one for like Peugeot 407, the one that usually fails is the lower one. And that lower one, the OEM, kind of expensive. Original new one costs about 30 something thousand for one wheel. So, but most people buy the ordinary new one, which will serve you. I don't know how long, but it will serve you. That one costs like 8,000. So the upper one, I think it's about 6,000 for ordinary new one. The upper one hardly fails, but it does fail. But what usually causes, it's not apart from the ball joint, like the bushings, the low arm bushings, and so many things. Like it also has something like a hanger that has its own bushings too, and all that, like upper and the lower. So all these things, what it means is you have to be very careful. Don't drive very well from bad road. I'm not saying once you buy it every now and then you're changing it, no. But it means if you are the type that drive very fast on bad road or with potholes and all that, then be ready to be spending more money on fixing those things. Yes. If you don't want, then drive slowly. If you see Peugeot 307 or Peugeot 406 driving very fast on bad potholes, ignore them. Yes, not because their own will not fail. It will. It doesn't matter how good their suspensions are. But they will spend less in fixing theirs than you. That's what it means. So that's one of the negatives that comes with it. The negative is not that they are not durable. The front suspension, I'm not saying they are not durable, it's just that it will cost you more to fix when they fail, or less as all of them fail at once. And they can only fail at once when you have a rough drive on bad road. That's where I'm coming from. So don't blame the vehicle if you find yourself in that mess. The other thing, 407, because I mentioned some of these things. The body parts, so you have to be careful. Don't go and crash your car and expect not to spend more in changing or replacing the body parts. But for the engine, it's almost the same, like I said, with the EW10A for radiator, almost the same. So it's the cost of maintenance probably just the same, not much. It's not like probably, in fact, it's just almost the same. Apart from these things I mentioned, I've talked about this thing on other videos. So just go and watch some of those videos. And personally, if I have to choose between EW10J4 and EW10A in Peugeot 407 with manual transmission, I will choose the EW10A. It's very easy to maintain, very cheap as far as I'm concerned, and then it has more power than EW10J4 and also consume less fuel. So that's two advantages it has over EW10J4. It has more power, then it consumes less fuel. So, I mean, what's the point? Going for something I know. In fact, EW10J4, EW10A replaces or replace EW10J4. And so what it means is it's also as good as EW10J4, but not only that it's as good as EW10J4 in terms of reliability and durability. It has more power and consume less fuel. So in other words, it's more like a big improvement on EW10J4. Most people don't know this. They keep running away from that engine. The another negative is EW10A doesn't like anything like vacuum leak. It doesn't like it. It messes up the engine ECU. We throw it into link mode. So make sure you don't have, in fact, like I said, it doesn't even have much vacuum lines, about 2 or 3 max. Doesn't even, not sure if it even has up to 3, because the one from the cylinder head cover, which goes to the intake manifold, the one from the brake booster that goes to the is it the throttle body or the other side on the intake manifold? Let's say either the throttle body and intake manifold. About 3 of them. Let's just say 3. So make sure no leakage is coming from there. No leakage is coming from the intake manifold. All those things from where the intake manifold is bolted on the engine cylinder head. Just once you do that, you don't have any problem. The EW10A with manual to me is the best when it comes to that engine, because automatic. For example, if you have ABS issue with EW10A that has automatic, ABS issue most times affect the gearbox. Even though the engine is running very well, but your gearbox will start misbehaving. Most times, I'm not saying in all cases, but unlike the manual, the ABS is there, you just be moving. Driving the normal way, no problem. Of course, it makes the car unsafe, knowing that your car does no longer work with the ABS. So in that case, you still have to go and fix it. But at least you won't have any problem driving the car. It moves very well. So other issues like which you find in EW10J4, you're also going to get it in EW10A. It doesn't mean you experience it, but they do come up every once in a while to some users, like P0170. That issue, all this is if fuel trim malfunction. It will always be, every once in a while they will come up and stay there, which is very annoying to fix. There another one, P0410. This fuel injection of air to the exhaust. Almost all EW engines always have this issue. These two issues. EW engine, whether EW12J4, 10J4, 7J4, they always come up with it. I'm not saying you must experience it, but they do come up. Out of 10, you are looking at maybe 6 users have experienced them. And when they come up, they become very pain in the ass to fix. It can be very annoying to fix them. So, what I usually tell people, when you get that kind of issues, what you do is just check that your air filter is okay. It's not bad, it's not a fake one, or it's not dirty, or it's not blocked or clogged. Make sure you don't have any vacuum leak. Make sure your fuel supply has a good PSI. At least it's 50 PSI for Peugeot 407 with that engine. And that your this thing as well is not bad. What's it called? FPR, fuel pressure regulator, is good. Just make sure your spark plug is okay, all those things. If the first day continues to stay there, ignore it. Funny enough, they don't actually give you any drivable issues. Not like the car will start giving you consuming too much fuel, or will start jerking, or no. Only thing that your check engine light will just stay on. Though you may notice, I don't know, since I don't really use any of those engines, but not that I don't like them. At least I like that EW10A because of a big improvement it is on EW10J4. Yeah. So, but worst case scenario, maybe the fuel consumption may increase a little, but like I said, most people don't really experience any issue when they bring their vehicle. They only complain that they are seeing check engine light or anti-pollution fault, and when you scan, it will show you those most times only one of those two faults or two of them at the same time. So that's all. Most times those two faults or one of them may come with other faults. Maybe that your coil is bad or something, or oxygen sensor. I always tell people, first thing you do when you see any of these two faults, P0170 or P0410, what you do is, first of all, check if there are other faults. If there are other faults there, maybe that relates to other sensors or something, deal with those ones first. Fix those ones, leave these two. You must be surprised that sometimes after fixing those ones, they will take care of these two. Or sometimes after fixing those ones, those two may still remain. Then you just drive, all of a sudden one day the check engine light will go off. You scan the car, you won't see those faults anymore. Even if they are there, we show you intermittent fault. You drive it for a very long time, 6 months, less, more, they will come back again. So don't let that discourage you. But I also tell you, you are likely going to get that issue because you just be telling you, I've done video on that, just read it up, Other things, EW10A, there's an advantage. To me, it has more advantages than disadvantages. It has a lot of positives compared to the negatives. It doesn't have an EGR valve. In fact, yesterday, somebody bought his D9406 with EW10J4. What was the issue? EGR valve. Very annoying thing to deal with. to get one that works. Very annoying. So that's the thing. But EW10A doesn't have EGR valve, so you don't have to worry about it. You know, so there are so many positives about EW10A. So I'll suggest you just go and watch some of my videos I've done on these two engines. This on comparison EW10A and EW10J4. Done some videos on even 307 with EW10A. I've done videos on Peugeot 407. So leave those things up, and so yes, it's a very good choice. If you are going for commercial purpose, I will advise you to go for EW10A manual. There's nothing wrong. You can also use EW10J4 manual, but just that the purpose of this video is just for EW10A. So that's all. I think this video is as we explain everything. All right. If you have any more questions, just ask it in this video comment section. I will explain.